like I said, it's almost like a somersault. Like I'm almost going directly over my head, oddly enough. Because I want to make the...
It's a unique experience for sure. I think most of the time what you get in most training environments for the higher level guys is you get a decent number of high level guys in the room, and those guys basically train really hard together, and it's a good way to kind of, I guess, sharpen the sword, getting ready for competition, right? You get a bunch of tough people in the room, they're all button heads. It's kind of similar to like what it's like when you go out and compete, right? And it's not a bad system. It's made most champions, I think, probably as far as jiu-jitsu is concerned. But I think the coaching element and the sense of direction that the team has, with John at the helm, but other athletes as well. Obviously Gordon, teaches quite a bit as well, and I contribute. I think with having that, that coaching structure where people have a little bit more of a sense of direction rather than everybody just comes into the gym to beat each other up. We have that too, don't get me wrong, we got a bunch of tough guys beating each other up, but at the same time, we got a little bit more sense of direction in terms of, okay, like what skills do we need to work on and improve, to better score in ADCC or better submit people or whatever the case may be. And then to support that, those skills, we've got a bunch of high-level athletes that have been working within that structure for a long time, so that you get an opportunity against people at a high level to test some of those new things that you're working on. So it works well. It's what most people have from day one. Because from day one you wouldn't be able. Most of the time, it's harder to discern the difference in the level of coaching. But from day one, people building up to blue belt, they have a coach and a sense of direction as to like what skills to potentially improve and these sorts of things. But somewhere around like brown belt, most people lose that. Most people, they go to open their own school, they go off in a different direction, or like I said, they join one of these big teams where it's just like a bunch of tough guys in a training room. And the sense of direction and the coaching and all those things are sort of lost. Maybe there's a little bit of collaboration amongst the athletes, but everybody kind of just does their own thing. And it's kind of cool to have a more centralized, approach to, improving our skills as a team and individually, to have somebody so, dedicated like John in the room to making each of us better and studying the sport on a daily basis. It's an amazing thing to have, and I feel very blessed to be a part of it, and I'm sure Giancarlo does as well. But I do think it's a big part of the secret sauce is like, having somebody that's at the helm really paying attention to the sport and different things, and not just this sport, but other sports as well, to contribute to our skills as a whole and really give us that sense of direction so we know where we're headed when it comes to trying to win these things, rather than just showing up in a group of tough guys and button heads.
Feel like one there.
Or I had a heel hook here, and my training partner did a good job of slipping the heel. And now from here, as he's going into slip, obviously from here, if he stays in this position, I could look to re-expose like we saw before. So this guy's smart, he starts looking to come forward on me, and he puts me down to the shoulder. Okay, let's go back. As you feel that you're getting put down to a shoulder, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna,
all right, guys, now let's look at a situation where we're in outside ashi, we were unable to get the heel hook, and your training partner is starting to come forward and put pressure on you because they want to come up, take top position, free their leg, potentially take your back. And so how are we going to address this, okay? This is the one kind of problem with outside ashi, is that, if you lose the heel hook and your training partner does a good job of coming forward and controlling your head, it could be a tough situation to get out of. So from here, the first thing we're going to do is...
Has been using his Jeep, putting his Jeep to good use. Yeah, so we are currently on the way to Ways to Well out in west of Austin to do some IV therapy. So it's Wednesday now, 1 week till UFC Fight Pass Invitational. And I got some food poisoning on Monday night, so pretty much Monday and Tuesday was out of commission. This is the first day that I'm kind of like walking around and doing stuff. So I'm going to get an IV from Ways to Well. Haven't really been having much appetite, so I've been kind of nauseous and low appetite for most of the last couple days, and today as well. So I've tried to eat, but just not really feeling it. So they're gonna give me some IV stuff and probably a couple other things, and hopefully that gets me feeling good so I can get to training tomorrow.
With a small clinic, man, just like having to find room.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't give a shit. You know we're moving, right?
Where to?
Just down the street, but it's
Okay.
like 17,000 square feet, bro. Not too bad.
No, that's fine. Gotta try to act tough.
I heard you. That's fine. Nah,
Damn,
man.
17,000 square feet.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
enormous.
So this one's like 1,700. No, not even, dude. Man, you were slipping that thing down. Were you like vomiting a lot last night?
Yeah, I was puking a bunch. Every time that I would puke, usually you puke, you feel better. Every time I would puke, I would like know that there was more in me.
Dude, that's
And,
like
I was
the
like, and
most.
then it wouldn't come out, so I'd like go to sleep, and then I'd wake up like an hour or two later, go again.
It's like the most like defeating feeling where you're like,
Yeah.
I'm done. Oh no, I'm not.
Yep.
Sick.
Awesome.
All right, brother, you are set.
Thanks so much. That was great. Yeah, so after the IV, I'm feeling pretty good. He gave me some stuff, two anti-nausea things, some glutathione, and a bunch of other magnesium, a bunch of stuff that was in the actual IV drip. And I feel pretty good. I feel hydrated for sure. I noticed that immediately after getting the IV actually, which I usually notice the IVs almost immediately, especially if I'm dehydrated, because I really haven't even drank very much water the last 2 days. So that I noticed immediately. The anti-nausea stuff kind of started kicking in, shortly thereafter. I was noticing a little bit of drowsiness from one of them. So, and that was to be expected. He said that I would get that. But overall, I'm feeling better, so I'm going to go coach class tonight at Sheepdog Response, and then tomorrow go back to training. And then we're about a week out as of right now from the match, so I wanted to get back to training as quickly as possible. So I hit up Ways to Well for a last-minute IV, and they delivered. So if I'm back on the mats tomorrow, it's because of them. So we are on our way to Roca Saturday, what's today's date? The 11th. So 4 days out from Fight Pass Invitational. This is my second to last session here in Austin. So we just got back last night from Arlington. We were coaching and supporting Nicholas in his match. And so today's just going to be kind of a moderate intensity session. Tomorrow will be the last one in Austin, and then we fly out to Vegas on Monday.
Giancarlo's attitude's been getting sick.
His attitude.
You getting him sick? How much, did he forgive you for getting him sick with the cooking?
I don't know even what that was. Like
It's a
I
good
think
point, actually.
I think that we had a bad batch of like chicken or something, because it was like 9 days ago that I was on my deathbed, and then it was delayed by a day, but then Giancarlo got really sick to the point where, like, I have not seen him. It was actually the day before I asked him. I was like, when was the last time that you puked? Because I don't think I've ever seen him get sick. Like I've seen him he's had cellulitis and really bad fevers, but vomiting is not something that he does.
She was even like, I've never seen you puke.
Yeah, the day before, because I just had like 3 days of puking and nausea, and I was like, I just can't. And if I have a migraine, I'll get sick like that. But I just hadn't seen Giancarlo like that, and literally the next day, he was screaming into the toilet, and it was, you know, I mean, like I feel like any grown man turns into a baby when they get sick, but Giancarlo is a 200-pound baby.
Just like a soccer player.
Yeah, you could have been a soccer player. You're gonna get one. You gotta get everything on here.
Had a good night's sleep. He said we'll do it 3 times a week for 2 weeks and we'll go back for half hours.
Yeah, so when Giancarlo first came to train with us, there was a few different occasions I remember, you know, him coming in and he would just train for a couple days or whatever the case may be. This is before I think he was planning on making like a serious move to train with us or anything like that. And he was always a very strong positional player, I had felt. I think there was a period of time, maybe when he had just first joined the team or he was seriously thinking about it, where I got to watch him compete against somebody. And man, I just saw so much potential. I'm like, man, this guy's a really dynamic, athlete. And, I could just tell mentally he was willing to get into, challenging situations in a match and come back. And this is a difficult thing sometimes, even very skilled athletes. They all of a sudden, bad things happen in a match and they crumble. And Giancarlo's not that guy. So he's got a lot of the raw material that you're looking for when you're saying to yourself, like, who are we going to be able to build into, a superior high-level athlete? And I think that he was already very good. And then I was like, man, if this guy starts training with us consistently, like, he's going to be hard to stop. And turns out when he competed in ADCC, that was true. So it's pretty cool to see his progression, man. His stand-up's gotten so much better too. I watch it; it looks so sharp and polished, like all the hand fighting and stuff that he does. It's been a massive difference. I don't think he was doing a lot of that, before he joined the team. I mean, the team as a whole has improved in that regard, but definitely in Giancarlo, I see that. His submission skills as well, anytime I'm training with him, it's really tough. But he's also a really great training partner. To his credit, part of the reason why I think he's probably got to where he's got is, Giancarlo's a very big, strong guy, but he knows how, to train. Like, I don't know if anybody can tell. I'm considerably smaller than Giancarlo. He knows how to train with somebody that's a little bit smaller than him in a competitive way, but that's fruitful for both people. It's, I feel like when I'm training with Giancarlo, it's hard training, but it's also like, I know this guy isn't like just trying to like use all of his weight to smash me, in a way that's not productive, and I think to his credit, that's probably a big part of why he improves at such a rapid rate. I always tell people, like, that's the way that you get things done, man. It's not always dialing things up to 11 and trying to smash through the brick wall. It's actually toning things down a little bit so you could focus on the technical aspects of what you're doing, that I think makes great champions over time, and I think that's something that he did well even from the start, but when he got into this program, allowed him to improve so rapidly. Giancarlo has always been, like, at least in conversation and those sorts of things, like a very like level-headed, logical kind of guy. That I talk to when I talk to him about various things. And when it comes to coaching, he takes, again, a very similar approach, very logical, breaks things down. And it's nice to see the way that he thinks about situations, various techniques in the sport because I think it meshes well with the way that I like to try to break things down. And, you know, I might have a little bit of a wild, you know, creativity touch sometimes, a little tinge of that, but I think Giancarlo knows how to reel some of that in and go, you know, have you thought about, you know, this particular movement or putting your head in this position? He does a great job of, you know, kind of suggesting, you know, possibilities and ideas that he has when it comes to collaborating in terms of improving techniques and teaching and these sorts of things. I've seen him, you know, teach moves in class as well. You know, every once in a while, one of us does something particularly well, and John will call us over and say, hey man, you know, why don't you show this technique because you've succeeded so well with it in competition a number of times. And, you know, in the times when Giancarlo's been doing that, you know, I think he's an excellent teacher, breaks things down really well. And it's a really understandable, you know, experience for everybody. And it's not an easy thing to do. Not everybody can do that. You know, it's an interesting skill. For sure, it's something that I think we as a team help develop in our athletes. But there for sure was already the building blocks of that there in Giancarlo. I think he already, you know, had a natural knack, you know, for teaching and communicating ideas to people. You could just tell. But I'm sure he's gotten even better now that he's gotten even more opportunities to teach seminars and to be teaching, you know, at Gracie Humaita and all these sorts of things. Like when you make something a habit, you're naturally going to improve it.
What's for dinner?
Chicken and orange.
Would you share a bite of orange with me?
No.
Can't spare it?
No.
I think there's orange in here, but it's old. It's the way it is sometimes.
I've never actually been to RGA.
You've never been to the new one?
No. How do I get there?
So you're just gonna go. You can actually take a left here, or not here, but on
Breaker.
yeah, on Breaker.
Should just put it in the GPS so we get there faster.
The GPS will get you there faster.
Yeah. Airport Boulevard, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Cigar.
That's what it is. It's a cigar. It's like a mix of cigar and coffee.
I think it's because people smoke out back the restaurant behind us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it like infiltrates subtly into
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
One of those places.
What's going on? How you feeling? Good? Good. What's up, buddy? How are you? Good. Feeling good? Okay.
Hi. Are you ready?
Nice. Work in the head, Brandon. Fight the hand, fight the hand. Fight the hand off of that one. Good. Nice stance, good head position. Discipline with our stance on the reset. Put the hands to the mat now, hands to the mat.
Splitting the feet, Brennan. Nice.
Let's look for angles now, Brennan. Protecting our feet, standing up and controlling the ankles. Nice attack, Brennan. Look for our underhook, underhook.
Using underhooks.
Great job, good performance. Good work, buddy.
All right, it's just a short. 6 minutes is long, really. Tough.
You don't want to let me pass them out either.
Yeah. It's hard in a short match because you have to spend so much time on the feet to get the match to the ground, and then you only have like 2 or 3 minutes to do stuff.
I was surprised. It was like a weird pull.
Yeah.
Put me into not that good of a position. I think he tried to do that.
You defend.
pull.
Yeah, but you defended the Ashigarami well.
I just kept tripping it.
Yeah.
And I think he tried to go X at one point.
Yeah. Put him in Ashigarami real quick.
Let's do this side.
So from here, go down to a knee. You were clearing the top leg well, good. And then you were crowding him here, which is good. From here, post on the bottom leg. And remember we worked on this morning? Post on the bottom ankle and stand up. Good. And now get your left foot to split his feet. Good, like this. Now pinch your knees. Now play from this position with the hand on the shoulder. Good. And then from here, start stepping out. Good. And then now use this to get into your half guard or your north-south position.
How's it going?
Oh, wow.
Alright, I'll walk you guys.
Hey, how are you? Good. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Come on in.
Now you can ask me how my makeup is. Or I can ask you how my makeup is.
Sure.
Obviously upset and very apologetic, but hey, this is not boxing because I'm just showing up.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Liver dry?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the cool things about the landscape now, you know, as far as like Giancarlo's concerned, you know, he won ADCC. I mean, there's a lot of leverage to that, and there's going to be a lot of opportunity associated with it. And the competitive landscape now is such that you have some more opportunities to compete at a high level and to make decent money and these sorts of things. So, you know, I think that it's probably winning ADCC has probably opened the door to, you know, a lot of matches and things like that that would have been less accessible in the past. You know, once you have some titles, you know, under your belt, people are much more willing to take the risk of potentially competing against you. Sometimes one of the harder things about competing at a professional level when you're not doing it in a tournament style is actually getting somebody to agree to the match, because it's like, oh man, you know, well, if I lose to that guy, I don't know how it's going to look. Nobody minds losing to, well, I shouldn't say minds. Might not be accurate, but people mind much less losing to the ADCC champion. Okay, so I think he'll probably have an easier time getting matches in some regard and a harder time in some regards, because the guys that are right up there that also have titles, you know, they feel that they're on an equal playing field and they don't want to have, you know, an L, you know, in the column. So, you know, some of those guys that he might really be gunning for might be like, oh man, you know, they watch some of the matches that Giancarlo has and it's like, fuck man, how do I beat that guy? And, you know, so that might be a little bit of a challenge. But at the same time, I think there'll at the very least be a lot of opportunities to compete. I know people are going to want him to compete. People are excited to see more from him. You know, he's got a long, you know, career ahead of him for sure. Like there's no, there's a high ceiling for what I think that Giancarlo is going to be able to accomplish in his grappling career. And I'm excited to see it for sure. And I think other people are too. So it's going to be fun.
Get to the leg, get to the waist, get to the back.
Yeah, it was good to move around, just break a little bit of a sweat. You know, just landed a few hours ago, so it was nice just to move around and get the body moving again.
Just what are the plans for the rest of the day?
I've got, I think, some more media stuff to do in a few minutes, so we'll go get that done, and then after that, probably just chill, get some food. Hopefully we can find something that's not too unhealthy, just to make sure we're not feeling sick.
How's the training session immediately after getting hair and makeup done?
Honestly, I was a little bit kind of interested to see if it was gonna melt or fade at all, but I don't think she put nearly enough on us for us to actually feel it. But it was definitely strange getting makeup on me for the first time. It was not what I expected it to be. So tomorrow will be weigh-ins, and so we'll get that done. I think that's at 10 a.m. Once that gets done, I think we'll be able to get all hydrated. I don't have to make weight, but Giancarlo has to make weight. So once he gets hydrated and fueled up a little bit, I think we'll have a bit more of a harder training session than we did today. And then, yeah, it's just kind of making sure we relax and recover enough for Wednesday's matches. I mean, Giancarlo always looks good. You know, he's one of the main training partners that I have, one of the most consistent guys on the training mats as well. So I'm very excited to watch him go out and compete and be able to compete alongside him on this card. Yeah, I'm expecting him to do very well, and I think it'll be a good build-up towards ADCC. Yeah, definitely one of the better teachers out there. I've had the privilege to train under Giancarlo a few times when John's out of town, and he's definitely one of my favorite people to learn from. I think, it's very kind of unique to John's students that are, very good at explaining technique as well as performing them, and Giancarlo is no exception to that.
All right, guys, so we are at the UFC Apex. Just landed in Vegas a couple hours ago, came over here, did some photo shoots for the fights on Wednesday. Got in a good training session. Me and Luke are here, still waiting for Helena and Taza to come in later tonight. So Luke and I just went over, did a light training session, broke a good sweat, just got showered, now we're about to go get some food, weights on point, feeling good. So just can't wait for the weigh-ins tomorrow, and then ultimately Wednesday we have the fight.
Talk about getting the hair and makeup done right before your training session.
Yeah, so I hate having anything on my skin. Moisturizer, fucking anything. I don't put anything on my skin. So I actually forgot that I had it on for the training session, thankfully, and I realized after. I was wondering what my face looked like. I thought it was just gonna be dripping makeup down my face. But luckily she just put a little bit over to cover the scratch on my nose that I got literally yesterday in practice. For the photos, and then yeah, it wasn't too bad. I didn't even notice that I had it on in training, and it wasn't like slippery or dripping down my face, fortunately. But yeah, she did a good job. I just don't like the feeling of having stuff on my face, but fortunately it was just a little bit, and I didn't even notice it during training.
How's it being here at the UFC Apex Center?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here a bunch of times. I competed here a couple of years ago at the Quintet. There's obviously been multiple Fight Pass Invitationals. This is going to be my second time competing here, so I haven't competed in 2.5 years at least, maybe even more. The first time that I competed here, the only time that I competed here, was at the Fight Pass Invitational when they did their Quintet tournament, and I competed for Team Pettis with some of my other teammates. It's always awesome, man. Like, just being involved with UFC, it's such a strong brand in martial arts. Obviously, the mixed martial arts world, but just martial arts in general, the tie that it has to jiu-jitsu, the history, it's such a strong brand and a big name. So being here at the Apex, being able to use the facility and being a part of this event is awesome, man.
All right, what's on the agenda for the rest of the day?
So we're kind of just going to play it light. I like to kind of stay active throughout the day. So we did a light training session. I had to get up early for the flight, so I didn't want to have too hard of a training session today. So just kind of a light sweat, get some food now, go back to the hotel, chill for a bit, maybe go for a little bit of a walk later, grab some dinner, and then we have weigh-ins in the morning around 10 a.m. the next day. So I know I'm going to wake up. I've been waking up on weight pretty much every single day. It's not really a hard weight cut, so I'm not really too worried about that. Weigh-ins tomorrow, probably another training session,
I like to stay active the whole time, and then chill the rest of the day.
Yeah, I got you, brother. I got you, bro. I'm gonna talk to you right now.
That we're doing. We try to build an event to break through into the sports world. We're not just trying to appeal to the general grappling world or even just the general jiu-jitsu world. It's although it's very popular, it's a small world. We're talking about the billions of people that are sports fans, and that's what we're trying to take this sport to. We've designed a rule set that we feel is dynamic and pushes the action while still respecting the tradition of the sport. And that's what we're going for. I mean, winning is very important, and we get that, but being exciting is what gets you paid. And that's just the reality of sport, and that's just the reality of what we're doing. Being entertaining is going to get you paid. Winning's going to get you up there. Winning's going to get you the titles. That's going to get you paid too, but being exciting is very important in today's, sports landscape and today's media world. And that's the two things we're trying to combine with this event. And I think we're on a very good path with the rules team that we built, the rules that we've written, the athletes that we've brought in, the matchmaking that we've done, and the team that we put together here to do this. We really feel that we're on a good path. So I appreciate that. Thank you guys for it. And you new guys on here, know that there's a lot of eyeballs on you. Dana's coming tomorrow night. Hunter Campbell's coming tomorrow night. Sean's coming tomorrow night. Sean Shelby. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on what we're doing. There's going to be a lot of eyes on the results, and there's going to be a lot of UFC executives paying attention. So, so thank you all for being a part of this. I look forward to tomorrow night. And again, just you guys go out and do what you do what got you here, do what got you noticed by us, and I think we're all going to be okay. That being said, we're going to start the weigh-ins.
And his opponent, Giancarlo Bodoni. $198 for Giancarlo Bodoni. A match not to miss between Giancarlo Bodoni and Gabriel Arges. Up next, a match scheduled in the Absolute Division. Please welcome back to the scale an FPI tournament finalist. This is Luke Griffith. $249 for South Africa's Luke Griffith.
A little bit of work from the first week, but also, I think Jason gave that last time. If someone's mounting and all they do is just peekaboo defense and they're not really trying to get out, like they could potentially get called for stalling as well.
In jiu-jitsu, the onus is on the defensive end. Wrestling, the onus is on the offensive end. And if you win with, as ADCC did, the wrestling model, you literally turn jiu-jitsu on its head. Like the jiu-jitsu build.
Yeah, we tried it. But that's the main thing for appreciate that.
Hey, I think the crew of us are going to be in Boston. That's June 1st. I'm not cool over the meetings all over.
Arrivederci.
Eat the same sandwich in
Honestly, when they read out that number, I was like,
So we're here at the UFC FPI. It is Tuesday night, right around fight time. We're gonna fight tomorrow, Wednesday. So we just got the last little sweat in, like 35, 40 minutes of just kind of creativity drills, light sparring, keeping the body active, keeping the body used to the things that we're gonna be doing tomorrow in training. So it's just good to get everything loose. Had a good meal today, pretty much just chilled most of the day. And you know, I don't like to stay stagnant at all. I like to kind of keep my body moving, keep my body active throughout the entirety leading up to the fight. So we had a good high-paced session, got my heart rate up nice and high. Again, 30, 40 minutes max, and feeling great for tomorrow.
Of course, we start tomorrow live at 5 p.m. on the UFC Fight Pass YouTube, and we can't wait to see you for an exciting night of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu action. We'll see you tomorrow for the FPI 7.